Hi. As many of you know, I've been placing videos on retirement on YouTube for quite a long time now, and I'm sure that many of you out there have seen some of them. You'll have also noticed that I've studiously avoided ever talking about the monetary side of retirement. That's because I don't know a great deal about it. What happened with me is, about a few months before I retired, I found a retirement advisor, financial advisor, went and saw him and had a good long talk with him. And then when I got my payout, because I retired early and took superannuation payout, I virtually left everything in his hands. And that was many years ago, getting on for 29 years ago now. And that man, who became a great friend, a really close friend over time, died about 2 years ago, and his son took over the business, and I've stayed with him. So as far as the financial side of it goes, I'm not going to talk about it other than to say this. In Australia, people who retire of average working class are in a very good position in many ways. This is particularly so if they own their own home, are in good health when they retire, and are entitled to the full aged pension, as I am. Now, the full age pension isn't a lot of money. There's no way that you could survive on it if you didn't own your own home and you had any big debts to pay. But if you don't have any big debts to pay and you do own your own home, then it's a great place to be, Australia, as a retiree. The other good thing they have going for us is what they call Medicare. And Medicare, once you reach the age of 65 and you are a pensioner on full pension, then the subsidies for medical bills are enormous. In many instances, you don't have to pay a medical bill at all when you see a doctor. Now, I know this is not the same in many countries. I'm certainly told it's not the same in the United States of America, where you really do need to have health insurance in your old age, or things could go pretty well badly for you. Now, I'm not going to talk about that because I don't know anything about it. The other thing I was going to talk about is retirement villages. One of the things my financial advised me to do, even before I retired, and I mentioned about selling my home and moving into retirement village, he said, "No, don't do that, Tom. Don't do it unless you really, really have to." And I thought to myself, why? And then he explained some of the reasons why. And one of the big reasons was, and I don't know the legal side of it or not, but when you go into a retirement village, often you cannot leave the property to the people you want to leave your property to. It's tied up in some legal manner that the property stays with the retirement village, and you have to sell it back to them at a particular rate determined by them. Now, whether that's true or not, I don't know, but I certainly was warned off of it. Don't go into a retirement village unless you really need it. Now, what could the needs be? The needs could be that your health is deteriorating, your friends have all gone, you want a safe environment, you don't expect to travel far much, and so you look up a retirement village and investigate them a little bit, pick out one you like, and in you go. Now, I've heard good reports from people who I know who are in retirement villages. They say it's wonderful, wish they'd done it earlier. But at the same time, these same people are often no longer married. Their spouses have died or they've been divorced, they're on their own and they're lonely. So they think, if I go into a retirement village, well, I'm going to be looked after, I'll find friends, I'll do bus trips with friends, and all of this is true. But on the other hand, I think to a great degree you probably lost a lot of control over your life. For example, my father-in-law, now long deceased, moved into I wouldn't say it was a retirement village, but it was a housing development whereby they employed a gardener to do the gardening. Now, gardening was one of the great passions of my father-in-law. He lived for it. He was always in the garden, always doing something, tinkering, building something, planting something. Now he's in a retirement area where he's not allowed by the rules and regulations of that area to even touch anything in the garden. So what did he do? He sat in front of in a comfortable armchair, watched television and died of a heart attack in a very short time. He was broken-hearted. His great passion had been taken away by rules and regulations. So this is another thing. What are your freedoms in that retirement village or whatever it might be? What are you allowed to do and what are you not allowed to do? All of these things, I think, need to be taken into consideration. There are pros and cons, and I'm not advocating one way or the other. I'm just telling you as it is in the experiences from people I've learned about. And I hope that you, when you do retire, don't have any big debts, are in good health, do own your own home, and are able to make that decision without any pressure as to where you want to live and how you want to live for the rest of your life. I hope you got something from this video.